Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a focused learner wanting to take your footage from looking, a bit amateur to truly professional, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to master what is easily one of the most vital technical and creative tools in cinematography, camera color settings. We're talking about capturing color right there in the camera to totally elevate your storytelling. Let's just dive right in. Have you ever filmed indoors and boom, your footage looked completely orange? Or actually, maybe you stepped outside and suddenly everything turned this harsh, lifeless blue. We've all been there for sure. It happens because the light around us is literally constantly changing. See, your brain does this absolutely incredible thing. It auto-color corrects instantly. So a white piece of paper, it always looks white to you. But your camera, well, it's just a machine, right? No visual cortex in there. It actually needs our help to understand the light it's looking at. So here's our roadmap for today. First, color starts in camera. Then, what is white balance? After that, we'll hit the Kelvin temperature scale, look at auto versus manual control, and wrap up with color as creative emotion. Okay, let's jump right into Section 1, Color Starts in Camera. A lot of beginners think, oh, I'll just fix the colors later on my computer. But capturing accurate colors in camera is absolutely essential. So here's the professional workflow. Step 1, always analyze your light source. Like, is it bright sunlight or just a warm indoor lamp? Step 2, set your camera's white balance based on that specific light. And finally, step 3, capture those natural, accurate colors the very second you hit record. Basically, the light dictates the balance, and that balance gives you a gorgeous, natural image. Moving right along to Section 2, what is white balance? So we've got the workflow down, but what exactly is this magical setting? Well, white balance is simply the setting that tells your camera what true white should look like under different lighting conditions. I like to think of it as giving your camera an anchor or a reference point. Because once the camera definitively knows, okay, this is true white, all the background math just falls into place. It can then accurately reproduce every single other color in your scene. So the crucial point here is that correct white equals accurate colors. If you skip this step, you'll completely lose that anchor. And your footage, it's going to suffer from what we call a color cast. That means it might look way too blue or super orange or honestly just completely unrealistic. Dialing in that correct white is literally the key to unlocking accurate colors across your whole frame. All right, Section 3, the Kelvin temperature scale. To actually tell our camera what white is, we use a scientific measurement system called the Kelvin temperature scale. And this brilliantly illustrates just how drastically light changes depending on the source. Down at the bottom end, a candle burns at a very warm 1800 Kelvin. Move up to a standard indoor tungsten bulb and you're looking at around 3200 Kelvin. Now, head outdoors and typical daylight sits right at 5600 Kelvin. But get this, if you step into the shade outside, the light actually gets much cooler, jumping all the way up to between 7,000 and 8,000 Kelvin. To put that into a simple, easy-to-remember rule, lower Kelvin values equal warmer, more orange light. Higher Kelvin values equal cooler, bluer light. Once you memorize this spectrum, it's like a superpower. A cinematographer can walk into literally any environment, read the light, and instantly know exactly how to tweak their camera. Let's hit Section 4, auto versus manual control. Now that we've got the science down, how do we actually apply this? Let's compare the beginner habit of just letting the camera guess versus the pro habit of taking total control. Most cameras come with auto white balance, or AWB. And sure, it works fine for quick, everyday snaps. But for video, it's kind of like having a confused chameleon living inside your lens. Say a cloud randomly passes over the sun. AWB might suddenly shift all the colors right in the middle of your shot. I can tell you from experience that is an absolute nightmare to fix in the edit. Manual white balance, on the other hand, locks that color setting down. It guarantees you consistent, professional results every single time. But wait, what happens when you have more than one type of light in a room? This is one of the absolute biggest challenges in filmmaking, mixed lighting. Picture this, you're filming inside a room with a nice, warm indoor lamp switched on. But there's also cool blue sunlight streaming right in through a window. Your camera is now staring at two completely different color temperatures at the exact same time, and it simply can't balance for both. So how do we fix this mess? Well, professionals solve mixed lighting right there on the set because, again, editing cannot easily save you later. You've basically got a few options here. Step 1, You could just turn off one of the light sources. Step 2, completely block out the window light. Step 3, you can use color correction gels over your lights to physically change their temperature. Or Step 4, bring in some Pro LED lights and just dial them in to match the room's natural color temperature. The goal? Unify that light before you ever hit record. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, Color as Creative Emotion. Let's pivot a bit and see how these strict technical rules can actually build into really deliberate artistic choices. Because, once you know the rules, you get to start breaking them. White balance absolutely doesn't always have to be perfectly neutral. I know. We just spent all this time learning how to get that perfectly accurate white. But filmmaking is art, right? And sometimes a perfectly neutral image just isn't what your story actually needs. Adjusting this single setting can completely transform the whole vibe of a scene. For example, if you choose a perfectly neutral white balance, you're getting pure realism and super natural skin tones. That's fantastic for documentaries or standard interviews. But what if you're shooting a scene with a character quietly drinking tea by a window? You might intentionally set your white balance to be a bit warmer. Suddenly, the entire scene feels comforting, cozy, maybe a little nostalgic. On the flip side, if you dial in an intentionally cooler white balance, that exact same shot can suddenly convey loneliness or tension or the harsh chill of nighttime. Just like every other camera setting, your white balance should always support the story you're telling. Before we wrap this all up, let's just quickly run through some common beginner pitfalls so you can steer clear of them. First up, leaving auto white balance turned on for every single shoot. We know now that this just leads to wildly shifting colors. Second, ignoring changes in lighting conditions. Say you move from a bright sunny yard onto a shady porch. Well, your lighting just changed, which means your manual white balance needs to change too. And finally, assuming you can just fix every color problem in editing. Getting accurate, consistent colors in camera is going to save you massive amounts of time and give you vastly superior results, for sure. I really want to leave you with this core professional insight. The camera captures the image, but your color decisions shape how the audience feels about it. White balance isn't just some boring technical menu option buried in your camera settings. It is a wildly powerful storytelling tool. Pro cinematographers set it carefully before literally every single shot, because starting with clean, deliberate footage gives you the ultimate creative flexibility. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to turn it back to you. The next time you pick up a camera, remember, it's just a machine capturing an image. The real question is, how will your deliberate color decisions make the audience feel? Don't let the camera guess for you. Take control, really master that white balance, and start shaping the emotion of your films. Thanks so much for hanging out and learning with us today.